Hello and welcome to Clarity for Business. I'm Jeremy Carrigan. The purpose of these training videos is to help you learn to communicate more effectively with clients, subordinates, and superiors. I want to help you learn how to write better emails, proposals, white papers, memos, anything that you write down. You collaborate better and with a minimum of drama. Business is about getting things done so that we can add value to our product or service. And with better writing, we'll learn how to add value quickly and efficiently. Our first module is called Introduction to Business Grammar. Let's keep in mind that I'm not going to be teaching you all the intricate technicalities to grammar, only the details as they apply to producing clear text for business. You don't need to know how to build a car, only how to drive one. There are two types of grammar, prescriptive and descriptive. Prescriptive grammar is primarily concerned with rules, such as never end a sentence with a preposition, never split an infinitive. We've heard them all before from our resident grammar stormtroopers. Descriptive grammar is concerned primarily with how people read or listen, how language is used and how it works here, now, today. I know prescriptive grammarians don't like to admit it, but they're fighting a losing battle. The English language changes. It changes depending where you are. England, the US, Australia, Nigeria. And the way you use English at General Motors is not the same way you use English at MTV or Vibe magazine. English also changes depending when you are. Generation after generation has changed the meanings and structures of the English language. The English we spoke 100 years ago isn't the same English that we speak today. Obviously, it's fair to say I have a bias towards descriptive grammar. I'm saying that I prefer a descriptive approach. If a sentence works better, if it communicates more effectively, it is inherently correct. Now, there are social or educational situations where prescriptive grammar works better. When writing wedding invitations or teaching children, for instance, it's more important to adhere to universal social rules of etiquette and grammar. But in business, we value effectiveness above all else. We value results. So we write to be understood. We look for clarity in our writing. But why is clarity so important? When writing is easy to understand, business is more efficient. So often business is about getting to yes, reaching towards agreement so people can work together. And you get that agreement when your text is clear. The reigning expert in decision theory, Daniel Kahneman, a psychologist and 2002 Nobel laureate in economics, spoke of a concept he called cognitive ease, when the brain doesn't have to work too hard to understand something. Kahneman said that in a state of cognitive ease, you are in a good mood, and you are more likely to like what you see and believe what you hear. You are more likely to assent, to agree. Now, its opposite, cognitive stress, is to be avoided at all costs. If people can't understand what you read, you are wasting their time and yours. But also, you're making them more likely to say no to you. Kahneman said that under cognitive stress, you are more likely to be suspicious and overly vigilant. So in understanding business grammar, we're striving for writing that's clear, that loses as little signal between what the writer intended and what the reader understands. We're striving for writing that's concise, that takes as little of the reader's time as we can, so we can get the most meaning in the fewest amount of words. We're also striving for writing that's compelling, writing that encourages or forces readers to keep reading until all your points and questions are complete. We strive for writing that's convincing, that leads readers to agree with you. And finally, yes, we do want writing that's correct, but only to the extent that it makes your text more understandable, only to the extent that it doesn't affect cognitive ease. In our next module, we'll learn about the parts of speech and how you can most effectively use them. We'll learn about two different kinds of verbs, dynamic and stative, verbs that describe action and states of being. We'll also learn why the verb is the most powerful part of speech and why people in business don't use the verb quite as well as they could. We'll also learn about nouns and how we were taught that they were supposed to be people, places, and things, but how they can also sometimes express abstract concepts and, unfortunately, actions. We'll learn how to use nouns and verbs better than you already do. And we'll also learn about basic descriptors in the English language, adjectives, words that describe nouns, and adverbs, words that describe verbs or adjectives. And we'll learn how and why descriptors can be overused and how they can actually do damage to your point. But today I'd like to leave you with these thoughts. Grammar is important, but never, ever confuse something that's correct with something that's clear, concise, compelling, or convincing. That is the sort of nonsense up with which you will not put. And we'll see you next time with how to build a great sentence.